Welcome to the Unleashed Potential Podcast, the number one Australian podcast brought to you by your hosts, Omar Hassan, Umar Elmi, Abduljabar Haji, and myself, Abduljabar Jama. We discuss both meaningful and everyday topics, so sit back, relax, and enjoy our conversation as we share our experiences.
What's going on, everybody? And we are back with another episode number 58. Yeah, so we're slowly climbing, inshallah. We get to that 100 episode
inshallah,
mark.
Inshallah.
Yeah, it's just about consistency, isn't it?
Yep.
Man, it's even raining as well. So if the listeners, they hear the rain.
Yeah.
I hope it doesn't put them to sleep.
Yeah. Just bear with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, drop that voice low. Yeah. Just bear with us.
It's unintentional today, man.
Nah, man. How you lot doing?
I've been alright, but tired.
I'm tired,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, you look it, man. You guys look battered, bruised up, and
It's been a long day.
Yeah.
It's been a long day, man.
tell us about it, man.
Nah, we've been together today. You tell us about your day, man. We haven't seen you all day.
All
What you
right.
been up to, man?
Yeah.
Well,
It's
actually,
Father's Day today, so we know you had to have done something.
It is
Yeah.
Father's Day, and that's actually what was going to be on my topic for the first segment, which is what's on your radar. So what has been on my radar is today is Father's Day. I know that in some other countries around the world, they celebrate Father's Day at a different time of the year. But here in Australia, we celebrate it on the 6th of September.
Yeah.
So, for us, for me, what I did was I just woke up early, went to breakfast, a double breakfast.
In and out of bed.
Yeah, double breakfast, man. So,
Yeah.
and then went home, enjoyed the day with the family. Then we had some nice Ethiopian coffee.
Oh,
Yeah, that bunna.
That's
I
what
don't
we need
know.
now, right now. That's what we need.
Yeah, and it was perfect because of the rain. I don't know. There's just something about it, So
Rain right now,
yeah, when it's
actually,
raining,
yeah.
and now I'm here with you lot recording
Yeah.
an episode.
Sweet.
The grind doesn't stop, does it?
Yeah, mashallah.
It's not even on Father's Day, eh?
Yeah, that's right, man.
Mashallah.
So tell me, man, what's going on? I heard you guys went
We went paintballing
bear
today.
hunting.
I've been up since Fajr, bro, this morning.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and I slept like ridiculously late last night. Couple hours, I reckon.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then pretty much this morning, woke up early, left the house like 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then went down all the way up north, about like 40 minutes drive or so. Yeah, and then pretty much paintball, man. You know how it is. We were there till we got there 8:30.
Yeah.
And we there till like
started 9. We were there
Yeah.
till like almost 1.
yeah,
Yeah. So it was
straight
non-stop.
paintball,
So we
bro,
didn't.
yeah.
We normally have breaks in between,
Wow.
and we were just so excited and wanted to get back on and do something else.
Just to
Like, we
clarify, it's not deer hunting. You guys were. Yeah, paintball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Paintball
Yeah.
wars. It was a war. It wasn't just.
Yeah, obviously like
I saw Omar Rashid's live, man.
yeah.
I'm serious. I saw him live, and then I was like, okay, let me see who's on. Let's see who's on.
You know the end, no one follows rules, yeah.
No, but the thing is, that was
Yeah.
the So you have different rounds and different
Yeah.
game modes and different little maps and areas that you play in, and so towards the end you'll do like a team deathmatch, so two
Yeah.
teams versus each other.
Yeah.
But you just keep going until you run out of ammo because it's like the last sort of game. And Umar was there, all bravado in his shorts and his singlet.
I
and all
tried to
that
be the
sort of
hero,
stuff.
man. This
Yeah.
guy's wearing t-shirt and shorts.
Not even a t-shirt, he was wearing a singlet. And when you said he was alive on the paintball pitch,
Yeah.
standing there with his phone up. So when you hear him screaming and yelling on that phone, I shot his legs up.
big
He
time.
has shorts and skin from down there, and I just
Yeah.
aimed at them legs.
These things
and-
hurt, man.
Yeah,
I
of
was
course.
wearing a jumper, hoodie
Yeah.
jumper, like full tracksuit with the pants, and I had a massive overall which was a lot bigger than me.
Yeah.
And these these paintballs are penetrating. They hurt, man.
He
Yeah,
had,
of course they do,
they
man.
hurt,
Yeah,
Yeah.
like 50-cent size pieces of welts, like literally up and down his arms and legs, like covered his. Like you can't find a space that's not bruised. That's how bad he got. ruined that
Wow.
game. And he also after that he did a one-on-one. I wanted to duel him one-on-one, but one of the other boys did.
Yeah.
So they
Do
pretty
you
much
know?
just
Do you know what I hate about paintballing is the fact that you run out of bullets. Because you think
Oh.
like at first when they sell you like 500 bullets, you think 250 each capsule. That's not bad. That's gonna last me because 500 sounds a lot, right?
Yeah.
Until you get on the pitch and the adrenaline
Actually, we never
kicks
ran
in.
out of bullets, bro.
No,
Wallahi.
because here's
Oh,
the thing.
how many did you guys buy?
I bought total for the whole day 1,300 paintballs.
Really?
Yeah.
I think because see if you go
Oh,
a
you
couple
bought
of
more. I
rounds
don't
or
get
a
that
couple
much
of
money.
times,
So my advice is get the biggest package straight off the bat. You're generally going to use it
Yeah.
because you don't want to. You don't go paintballing every day. Well, not everyone goes paintballing every day. You don't want to go there, spend only for a couple hundred bullets and then not play the way you want to play, or play defensively and not do the things you want to do because you don't have enough bullets. You want to make sure that day you have enough money where you balled out. So I bought the largest package off the bat, and then about 3 games in, I realized, I'm like really running low. So I was like, what's the biggest package you can get again on the pitch? And I bought that. And so it was an $800 package, and then it was a $500 package, and that was more than enough for like the rest of the day. So,
Oh wow.
yeah.
Yeah, man.
So
It was
that's
good fun, lie.
that's what was on your radars. Is
Oh,
that
yeah.
what it is?
You know how it is. There's a lot of trash talk at the beginning and a lot
Yeah.
of
I was
rude
just saying
people
at the end,
afterwards.
man.
Yeah.
Kills
We
on the
killed.
boys, man. Bro, he rushed me like, and he was shooting at me. I'm like, what is this guy doing?
Well, all out.
No, so it was the
Like
last
straight.
round.
It's the last round.
Yeah.
Obviously, we had like last 100 bullets left. And he was rushing at me, and I saw him, and I said, "This guy's dead meat." He's shooting me. I'm trying to avoid him. We're getting pelting each other. He's shooting me. I'm shooting him. We were chasing each other around, and Umar's from behind shooting me. So I'm pelting him, right? From behind.
Yeah.
Umar's pelting me from behind. Both of them are pelting me.
Yeah.
Then obviously I got him nice and hard. Then he ran. He was trying to run away from me. He ran into his brother.
Like literally into
Play
each
ball
other.
is just like, especially with your mates.
Yeah. Because the thing is,
Look, I'm telling you a story now. You won't understand unless you're on the pitch, bro.
No, of
You know what
course,
I mean?
bro. I've been
But
on
the
the
thing
pitch a
is-
couple of
bro,
times,
but
so
the
I
thing is,
know
yeah,
what it's like.
It's like, especially with your mates, it's something else. Like,
Yeah.
some
we
weird
were on the
grudges happen
same
there,
team.
man.
So pretty much they give you like a lanyard,
Yeah.
and that's how you pay. They'll stamp it so you pay at the end and stuff. And they'll have a number on it. And then you go pick your guns up, and then you have like a ribbon or a different colored gun.
Yeah.
And so the teams with the same colored guns are on one team. So you don't really pick your teams. Me and Elmi were pretty much on the same team, and we had that
Yeah.
connection. We played like really well. Like right before that, when he
Oh.
got shot by
Yeah.
Amir,
Yeah.
I had to get cover and reload. So I told him to cover me. The second I moved to get, some guy bum rushes and doesn't realize I'm
I'll
there
finish
because I
that guy
just
off
got
alive.
into cover.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So this guy pops up when I say cover me, shoots him. By the time I'm finished reloading, I just see his back running away and I shoot him again. It's just,
Yeah.
He
That's the
said,
best
cousin, this
part,
guy
man.
coming. Obviously sees the bar. This guy doesn't know what's
He
coming,
literally
man.
just
Bah, bah, bah,
saw,
bah,
it was
bah.
deer in the
Finish all
headlights. He saw
canister.
me. It was like, he just saw me in the corner reloading. So he thought it was all, he had the perfect, easy target. He comes running. This guy just pops his head out of a barrel.
Oh, did anybody get any headshots?
Oh, there was
Oh,
plenty of
plenty of
headshots.
Yeah?
shots,
The best one
That's
I
the
got
best,
was,
man. That one.
I got hit first game in the head.
Because you have to have
Yeah.
precise accuracy, right? Because when you're doing I'm serious. When you've got the paintball, right? When you shoot it, it doesn't shoot straight. It
Yeah,
either
yeah,
shoots
because
up and then it goes down
We
on the
got
curve,
lucky.
Yeah.
We actually got
or it
lucky.
goes sideways a little bit.
Because
So
the guns we used were only used twice. They were brand new guns.
Yeah.
So other than when the wind kicked in, on certain maps it was like in a ditch, so it wasn't really
Yeah.
windy. Only a couple times was it windy. So up to about 100 meters was going straight.
Yeah, it was
That's
pretty
why
good.
it was pretty fun. And when you said accuracy and I was shaking my head was because your cousin-in-law,
Yeah.
me and him were like about 30 meters from each other, and we're like the only two. Like he's crazy, like I said, in shorts and singlets and stuff like that. And so we're
Yeah.
both battling it out. And so I see him just about to peek, so I just blind fire around the corner, and then all I hear is "I'm out," and I'm like, "Really?" And he just has like blue pen all over his face, and I was like, "Oh,
yeah, he's covered.
you
Yeah,
got him."
Yeah.
that's the worst, man. When you're out of bullets and you just blank fire, da, 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 da,
scares them.
it just makes the same
scares
noise, and
them.
it's just
Yeah.
it's scary.
So like sometimes I'm reloading, and all I'm doing is I'm opening the hopper, I'm reloading, and I'm just poking around the corner and just blank firing as I'm reloading.
Yeah.
Pour it in, clip it, and then actually fire, because if they hear that little popping sound, they're running straight to you, because by the time you put in the guns in,
yeah,
you're
yeah.
gone. Yeah.
They'll think that they know you're trying to
Oh,
reload.
Yeah, there's no one shot. Oh, I'm out, bro. If I see you, it's like free hillip, man. You know.
They gave
It's
us
like
one.
free
If someone's gonna put a plate of food in front of me, of course I'm gonna eat it, bro.
Yeah,
It takes one
As soon
person.
as he's reloading that canister and I see him, the rest is history, bro.
Because it takes
Yeah.
one game, which is generally the first game, for one person to get shot and then just hide back and then wipe it off and keep playing. For everyone to go, "Oh, no, forget that. I'm gonna keep going."
yeah.
But you have to have
now-
tactics, bro. In this
Yeah,
game,
so we-
first couple games, I was always either the first one out or the second one out, because I just kept on rushing. I forget. I just wanted to kill someone, you know.
Yeah.
I kept on rushing. First game, boom, right in my face. I'm out. Because they can see obviously the paint. splatter
Yeah,
all over
no,
you.
of course.
You have to get out straight away. Yeah.
Yeah.
But some of the boys don't follow the rules, but it is what it
Most
is, you
of the
know.
boys weren't
Yeah.
following the rules.
Yeah. All other boys are.
but most of the well, all
Right,
of them.
nah, I wouldn't say
Yeah.
all of there's a few brothers,
No,
you know.
but all of us,
Yeah.
because the ones that were following the rules were
Yeah.
only not following the rules against the ones that weren't.
Bro, it's annoying, man. Like, you pay to be there. There's a time limit on it, and then you go in and you get shot 5 seconds into the battlefield. Of course, you're gonna try and wipe it away, you know. And the rain helps you too. So.
You know when you get shot, you put a hand up, and you put your gun up. I'm shot, man.
Yeah, that's a free shot.
That's
right
like
that's saying shoot
if I
me.
was playing with other people, they would have said, "Okay, he's got shot. Let him up." Because I'm playing with my mates. They're like, "This idiot." They just finished me off, man.
I'll tell you how mean they are. So we're both standing on both ends of the field, getting ready to go.
This one, yeah.
One of the other team goes, "Hey, you want to be in our team?" Or like talking about it, right? So he comes all the way to the other side of the pitch. They start counting down, 3, 2, 1. So he starts walking back to our pitch. We start running. All we see is some guy walking from there into our end, and they just start firing at him. His own teammate.
Yeah,
He's coming back towards us.
No way.
Because we just hit 3, 2. It's time to go.
We absolutely peppered him.
Yeah, we destroyed him.
And they were peppering him too from behind too. So
no, they was trying to shoot at us from the top. Well,
a few of them got him.
Yeah.
I was talking to a few of the boys. They got him because he was trying to walk back to our side, and it was a bit of a.
Well, people getting shot between games from one place to the next.
You know
how you have to have your gun down.
Yeah.
So they'll walk next to you, talk to you, and shoot you once in the foot.
He's limping. He's limping now. Yeah. That's beautiful, man. Yeah. Mashallah, I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. And I enjoyed my day as well, as I said. But let's get into the episode.
Yeah.
So today I thought we'll do something a little different. Not talking about a particular topic. I came across a story, right? And I thought it would be wise to maybe just derive some lessons from that story, because you can derive so much from it, so much information from it, right? You know, when the Prophet ﷺ used to teach, one of the ways he used to teach was he would narrate stories. Even Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he narrates in the Quran certain stories to teach you certain lessons. So it's kind of like a tradition, and it's also like one of the most powerful ways to actually teach a lesson. So if you're going to remember any lessons that we mentioned from the story, you'll remember it simply because it's a story, right? Yeah. So, and the story basically goes like this. There's this elderly man, and he's a carpenter by trade, and he works for this company, and he's been working there for many, many years, and he decides finally he wants to take some time out, and he wants to enjoy the rest of his days with his family and extended relatives. So he tells his employer, and he says to him, "Listen, I'm enjoying the money from this trade, you know, but I think it's time for me to hang up my hammer, you know, and my tools, because I want to enjoy some time now, you know, of whatever's left of my life with my family." So the employer basically says to him, "Okay, look, you've been a very honest, loyal, you know, and consistent tradesman and an employee, and you've been very valued in this company, and I will accept it, even though I'm going to be disappointed that you're leaving. I'll accept it, but can you do me one favor? Just build me one more house," right? So the guy reluctantly, he says yes. All right, no worries, you know. So he starts working on the house, and weeks into the actual project, he starts cutting corners here and there, you know. He starts slagging off a little bit, using the cheaper material, you know, trying to fast track the time, doing some of the things that are not absolutely necessary. Doing some of the things that are only necessary and not focusing on the small details. Basically, he started to realize that his whole heart wasn't into it, right? So he wasn't putting his all in to that last project, because this is his last project. Eventually, when he finishes, his employer comes in, quickly checks the work, and then he says to him, "Thank you very much, you know, your service has been very much appreciated." And the employer hands the key to this worker and says to him, "For all your efforts, this is my gift to you. The house that you just built is yours."
Yikes.
So, you know, there's many lessons that you can derive from this. So I thought, you know, why not pick your brains just to see how you guys attack it from different angles.
Yeah.
So who wants to go first?
Well, I think we both can go. Well, we'll both jump between each other as we go, because, you know, it's the first time I'm hearing it. But the first thing I was thinking of while I was listening to the story was when he started cutting corners, I was like, oh, maybe he shouldn't have picked up the last job, you know. He's not motivated. he should have he has a certain level of standards. That's the reason why his employee enjoys him so much, and doesn't want to let him go. So he should live up to that standard till he finishes. And if he couldn't do one more house, just say, I can't do one more house, I'm sorry. But then he got a free house at the end of it, So was he cutting short his boss, or was he cutting short himself?
So what do you think the lesson there is? So what you're saying is it that don't accept something that for sure your heart's not going to be in it?
Yeah, because especially when someone expects a certain standard and you've been delivering that certain standard for a while, you shouldn't just agree to things knowing that you're not going to give that, giving that same agreement, that same trust level, but then falling short knowingly. Don't agree to it.
But then, in life, for example, if your friend comes up to you, right, and you always help this friend on a consistent basis, right?
Yeah.
And this person comes to you because he knows you're reliable, he knows you're able to do what he's gonna ask you to, and says, "No, can you do me a favor? Can you do this?" You yourself, your heart's not in it. Do you decline this friend simply because your heart's not in it?
In this situation, it was just one job at the end of it. You know what I mean? It wasn't like he would said, "Oh, can you work another month or 3 months or 3 houses, 4 houses, whatever it is." It was one house. So in that scenario, it's like if a friend came up to me and asked for a favor, and it was only first time ever this really good friend's asking me a favor, even though I know my heart's not in it, it's just one favor he's asking for. He rarely ever asks for a favor. He's a great guy. I'm gonna put my all into it. You know what I mean? It's understandable where if I keep saying one more favor, one more favor, one more favor, one more favor, and you're
eventually it's gonna
start cutting
that battery
corners,
life is gonna die down.
So you should always give it your all, and if you know you're not gonna give it your all, you should come up to the person and say no, because at the end of the day he cheated himself with cutting the parts and stuff like that. Because at the end of the day, when you said it was I was like, man, your boss is paying for everything. All you're doing is the labor.
That's it.
That's it. All it is, And if I told you at the beginning, this lot of land, this much materials I have for you to build a house, all you gotta do is the labor. He would have probably put 110% in it. You know what I mean? Yeah. But are you gonna do that for someone else? So a lot of people go, oh, it's not me, it's someone else, so I'm not really gonna give that much. But the way I think about it is that's your word you gave. Is your word worth it? So you might go, oh, my friend, he's not a great friend, or he's an iffy friend, so I'm not going to put 100% in, but I gave my word. So is my word worth 100% or not?
Oh, I see.
So that's the point I'm trying to make.
What about you, Elmi?
Mate.
It's a tough one, isn't it?
You were telling me the story, and I was like, man, this guy has the same characteristics as me, man. If I was about to leave a job,
that's it.
I would have been calling sick.
Exactly.
Cutting shortcuts, taking extra 20-30 minutes on my break. Yeah, but subhanallah, man, is this a true story or?
I don't know if it's a true story. Regardless, even if it is a true story,
man, that's
or isn't.
That's the same thing. What goes around comes around. You do a shortcut, the shortcut will come back to you, man. It's like, in a way, but you know what I mean. So his boss said, "Look, this is the last job, and he's a carpenter, and there's especially when building, man, you can't. It's a tough job, bro. It's a very tough job, being a carpenter, and it's very labor intensive."
Yeah.
But you raised a good point, especially the fact that if it was you,
I would have done the
and
same
your
thing.
profession, you would have
straight up
cut corners. You would have
maybe I wouldn't have cut corners. I'm not that type of character.
You might not be late for work, but you'd show up and might leave early, or because it's your last day.
Yeah.
It's you muck around a little bit.
Yeah, if I was a carpenter and I had a last job and I was about to retire and all that, obviously I wouldn't cut corners on materials. I'll do the job, but I'll take a lot longer than what it normally takes me, and I'll take the absolute. Hopefully no one's watching, but you guys know.
Don't hire him.
7 breaks in the day, half an hour each. You know what the story actually reminds me? Have you seen that show? The scene on YouTube, the Undercover Bosses.
Yes.
Boss, where the boss will come in as disguise and stuff like that, and it always goes one or two ways. Someone's getting fired, or someone's gonna get a gift or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because a guy will come and go, man, this guy really, puts his heart and soul into it. So, I should give him a raise or whatever it is. Or some guy's going to be very terrible. Now, imagine that guy that was terrible, that got fired, was never usually like that. But it was just that one day where he was like, I'm fed up.
Right. Let me tell you something. When it comes to a job, me, alhamdulillah, the field I work, I don't want to be there for the rest of my life. So it's not a job I'd say I enjoy. If I'm being straight up honest with you guys, right? I'm the type of worker, when the manager's away, but when the manager's walking past, I'm the most hardest worker in the business.
It's all about the image. It's just the image,
It's the image. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. That's the truth. Straight up. You know what I'm saying?
Enough.
But
love the honesty.
But the thing is, if he was doing a job that he actually loved, and enjoyed, he wouldn't have cut corners. That's what I believe.
You think so?
No way,
no.
bro.
So you think he only does it simply
Bro,
because he's
because-
being...
Oh, look,
I
he would
see.
cut corners, but let me take that back. In every field of work in life, there's no one that I've come across or ever heard of, I'm making that clear,
Yeah.
that does their job 110%, like puts their heart and soul to their job.
Unless they love it.
I've never seen that unless they love what they're doing, brother.
Yeah, well,
That's
look
the
at
passion,
football
you
players,
know
for
what I mean?
example. That's their job,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
To be football players,
Yeah.
or even any sports player, right?
Yep.
If they love it for a fact,
Bro, it's
even
still-
if it's their last
Yeah,
game,
yeah.
they'll approach it with such...
It'll make it be more important because it's their last
Yeah.
game. It's the last
Exactly.
time they can do it.
Exactly.
Kobe
you know?
dropped 60, bro. 60 points
Yeah.
in his last game.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think you're right in one sense that
Yeah.
you know, if their hearts, if they don't love their job that much, if they love their job that much, that even on the last day they wouldn't cut corners, because it's the last thing that these people are going to remember. And that's the
Yeah,
thing, right?
That's the passion, yeah.
Like, I think one of the lessons that I take from this is the way you end things is usually the last memory that people are going to remember you by, right?
Yeah, straight up.
And even in Islam, the concept is that your deeds are judged by its ending, not by how you start, right? So you might start off rocky, you might not be consistent, but towards the end, if you build up to that level where you're consistent, where you put in such effort and skill into your work or into your side project or whatever it is, eventually it's going to overshadow your beginnings. But if you flip it the other way, then you know the negativity part of it is the last thing that these people are going to remember.
But think about it anyway. If you have a person that's down on his luck, criminal, whatever it is, and he has a success story where he kind of makes it, it's a big, hero story.
Of course.
But if it's the other way around, this guy was a millionaire, born rich, everything was fine, and then ended up doing bad. It's like this guy was terrible.
Yeah,
You know.
absolutely.
But, when I was looking at Elmi's point, like I was exactly the same with you. Like with my job, I'll do my job. I'll make sure my tasks are done. But if I got some extra time where I can chill back and take a little bit long on the break, I
No
would.
way, mate.
But what I changed up was I don't work for someone I don't like.
Yeah.
I have a certain so my bosses know we have an agreement where it's like, okay, these are your roles, these are what you got to do. As long as you get your tasks done and you're helping people out and you're not being mean and you're doing all that sort of stuff. If it's a quiet day and you got extra half an hour, you got extra half an hour. You know what I mean? Like if you got a boss where he's like telling you no matter what, you got to do everything on the dot. There's no leeway. There's no this. Then I understand. Even if you're passionate, you might not like it. You know what I mean? But for me, if I have a great boss that's always understanding, always helping out, if you got sick family, whatever it is, we'll give you the day off. We'll give you the extra time. If they call me in and go, hey, can you work an extra shift? And I know that they have no one on that shift and they're going to be struggling and stuff like that. And which looks bad on the managers because they have to do reports. I'll be like, yeah, I'm going to come in. I'll sacrifice my time because they help me out a lot, because that's where my income comes from and all that. Yeah. So it's not just,
I think
loving what you do,
yeah,
but it's also having that respect for who you do it for.
I think the other aspect of it is you get basically what you put in.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So in this life, we know that it's a test, and Islam teaches us that you basically get rewarded in the hereafter what you strive for in this life.
So
right? It's the same principle in your job. Whatever you strive for, the ones that actually work hard, work smart, and work effective consistently are the ones that you would see rise up towards, rise up in the ladder.
Yeah.
And even once they leave, even if it's their last shift or it's their last, project, they would do it to a certain extent because they've been consistent and they've been doing it out of heart. Like their heart was fully in it from the beginning. They weren't consistent simply because somebody was looking at them or watching over them.
Yeah.
And so it's become second nature to that level that they can't even cut corners even if they wanted to on their last day.
But also, when you also think about it, is you're working to earn money. And if you're cutting corners and you're pretty much ripping off the person you're working for because that's their business, are you really going to have that much barakah in your money? You know what I mean?
It doesn't work like that.
That's the other thing.
That's a very good point. But we all work in different areas for work. Like from what I've seen, like he's saying, like if you work hard and you're consistent, people move up. In some workplaces, not like that. Obviously, if you there's a saying,
look,
there's a saying.
what I mean by
when they get close to the manager, they work hard.
Okay.
But there's even some times where a hard worker won't even get recognized for his hard work.
No,
because why? He's not close with the manager.
No, that's fine.
You
Yes,
know
it
what I'm
is
saying?
about your
Like,
relationships.
yeah, exactly,
but what
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying to you is, when you work hard and you work consistent and you work smart, right,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you work effective,
Yeah.
not only for some people it's about moving up the ladder because that's what they want. So
Yeah.
they'll do whatever they can to try and get up the ladder.
Yeah, yeah.
For other people, it's doing it to build up that nature within them, to be that type of person,
صح.
and eventually that leads to doors opening. Like somebody might show up and see you working to a certain level and be like, yeah, I can use somebody like this. I've seen so many cases of people at my company where they work to a certain level that they get recognized, just like an opportunity would just land on their lap, and you wonder, you're like, what, how? And this person didn't do anything. They didn't go out, and it was simply like it's a barakah basically.
Yeah,
you
I've
know?
seen-
Like it's a barakah that they get.
I've seen someone leave the company I was with,
Yeah.
start a new company, started doing really well in that company, came back to our company to hire someone from there and give him a higher position
You
job,
see?
and a higher paying job. Because he was like, yo, this guy, every time we were running late, every time we had like hard shifts, this guy was always on my back working
Yeah.
hard. He never
Yeah.
complained.
Yeah.
You know, he was always reliable. So maybe his job didn't appreciate it, but it's still being seen.
Yeah,
You know what I
it's
mean?
being seen. That's the thing. Whether it's being seen by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or it's being seen. And that's the other thing that you mentioned was the barakah. Like, even though your supervisor might not actually be there seeing you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is still watching you. So, cutting corners and stuff like that. Yeah, but we're going to keep it real. Let's keep it real.
Yeah.
Look,
You
listen,
know?
I'll do my job
Yeah.
to the right requirement, to the 100% requirement. Like, I don't break my back for anyone. Unless they're going to pay me extra, no dramas.
No. It's not about
know what I
going
mean?
overboard.
Yeah.
It's doing it to the level that is expected.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it. Because you're paid according to what they expect you to return,
Yeah.
right?
Well, I use my
You can work
my
smart,
excuse, I'm
there's-
like, I'm trying to work as safe as I can. They're like,
Health and safety always
Yeah,
helps
that's
you
it.
out.
Yeah, of
It
course.
always goes through.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but the way I look at it is treat it as if what you're doing is your job, your business. So with the carpenter, if he treated it as this is my business, I'm gonna have to sell this house to someone, would I be proud of it? Because then at the end of the day, you got that job, you applied for that job, you knew what was going into that job, you went into a contract and agreement with that person, so now you owe that person what you promised them, you know. And that's where
It's
the
tough,
barakah
man,
comes in.
because people get comfortable. They get comfortable in a certain position, and then they start taking it for granted, and then they don't realize that the barakah sometimes is right at the end, right at the last minute. That's why the Prophet ﷺ said, if you hear that if you see the signs of Day of Judgment approaching, and it is today, for example, and you have a sapling, which is like a little plant, right, in your hand or a seed, plant it anyway.
Yeah.
Why? Because the intention is there. The barakah might come. You might enter Jannah through that, and you don't know.
Just be patient.
Yeah.
you know?
So it's but like I said to you, people get comfortable.
But with my personal experience, so with the job I worked at, I knew what I was getting into. I had my certain role, and as time came on, they started piling more on it and a little bit more workload,
Yeah.
no extra time.
Yeah.
And then that's the opposite, where you're like, hey, look, we had an agreement. I'm getting paid for this many hours to do this certain work. That's what we agreed to. Now you're putting on more work. You're either gonna give me more hours or pay me more. And I actually sat down with the manager and told them that. And normally people would be like, oh, you're crazy. You're going to lose your job. You're going to do this. But they knew how hard I was working beforehand and what I was doing for them, where they're like, oh, okay, like he's a valuable person.
It depends what type of environment you're in. If you're in an environment in a workspace where everyone's just kicked back and lazy, and I wouldn't say lazy, everyone's just very chill, mellow, you'll be chill, mellow. But if you're in a work environment where everyone's hustling and bustling, you have no choice. You gotta hustle and bustle.
Yeah.
Or you're
It
gonna be
depends
the
on the
odd dog.
industry.
You'll be the odd one out.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it just depends. The environment has an effect
No, but not just
as
odd
well
one
on
out.
the attitude towards work. So,
He's right
you know
with
what I
like
mean?
your career choice, because if you're a surgeon, you can't cut corners.
Nah,
That's a person's
there's-
life
yeah,
on the line.
bro,
If
yeah.
you're a mechanic,
Oh, you
can't-
never know, bro. Who knows, man? You know?
Yeah, but they lose their license. They get like, even if you're a mechanic,
Yeah.
if you cut corners, you're not gonna get business. No one's gonna come to you. So like some jobs, you can cut corners. You can sleep in the break room. Do
Yeah.
certain things
Yeah.
there and there. But certain roles, it doesn't give you the opportunity to cut corners. Or if you do, you're it's something terrible will happen. You know what I mean? So you're working on a car, you cut corners, the brakes ain't put on right. The guy drives around the corner.
That's not cutting a corner. That's just the person
That's
doesn't know how
just,
to do
yeah.
his job, bro. Right
But
there.
you never know. It could be something
Yeah.
small as
Yeah.
obviously it's a big
I know what you
thing,
mean,
but it
yeah,
could
yeah.
just be you forgot to tell the person to go do it.
Yeah.
So you didn't tell that guy, so that guy thought you already done it, and it
Yeah.
gave the keys to the person.
Laziness,
So to you, you're like, how can you miss such a big thing? But it can be something small.
Yeah.
So don't cut corners. And if you are, so when I'm in that position where I'm like, okay, I'm either the boss is a terrible person I don't want to work for, I don't fall in love with this job, whatever it is. All I go is am I being stressed out, or I'm gonna find another job? I'm gonna keep quiet while I'm here. The second that one's secure, I'm out. I'm not putting myself in
You
that
know, the
position.
other aspect to it is, when you think about it, there's people in life generally, or at work as well, where they are the last to be removed from a certain project, last to be taken out from a company that's slowly failing. They are the last to be basically, fired, or they are the first pick for almost everything, or they are the last remaining people. Usually, they are the last friend that's sort of kicked out. Out of a group.
Call.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Why? Because they're so reliable that if you show up right every single day, I know my dad, for example, doesn't take a sick day, right? Even if he's sick, he'll still turn up, right? And I'll tell you right now that the company he used to work for, almost each and every single employee in that company was let go except for him, simply because they looked at his consistency rate. And they said this guy's consistency rate was so high, and the quality of work that he was doing was so good, that they just decided, you know what, we have to keep him. And the new company that purchased his contract, you see, and everybody else was let go. So if you apply it like in life, for example, if you have like a group of friends and you are taking more from that friendship as opposed to actually giving, you're going to reach a certain stage where you will no longer be considered. You won't be. You will basically overstay your welcome, because you've taken so much that you haven't put back. You haven't invested. You haven't put in the time, effort, and energy to try and build that relationship up. So it works in everyday situations in your life, and what I liked about it was the fact that this person managed to reach a certain level where he had to say, I'm going to take some time off, so he's been there for years, and I'm sure many employees would have been let go in that process, but he's been there for years, and even still the employer had something positive to say about him, that to the level, well, not even gave him a house. Yeah, you're right. I mean, gave him a house, but to the level that even when he wanted to leave, he still tried to find a way to loop him back in.
Yeah.
That's how good he was. That's to that level, and said to him, just one more house. That's it. So what I'm trying to say is, the lesson here is, don't look at life, or don't look at certain things that you have in life as something that's mediocre, something that's very minimal, something that doesn't have any value. Even if it's a rubbish job that you're doing and you don't appreciate it, and you're trying to work for something better, or it's a car that you currently have and you're trying to get something better, use it to its full potential, and you yourself apply it as if it is the prime thing that you're chasing after. And then eventually, you'll get something out of it. You never know.
I actually got a thought of a different point of view from the story that you told, which is actually the owner of the business, right? So his employee was so good that he obviously treated him to, let him build his own house, free of charge. And I was thinking, that guy it was his last day. It was that one more. He was ready to let go. There should have been signs of that a little bit earlier. So the point I would say is, if you have someone that's been helping you out and has been by your side for quite a long time, don't wait to cherish that moment. Don't wait for him to come and go, I'm leaving, before you go do something good for him. Because if he came to him a week earlier, 2 weeks earlier, and I saw he's he was kind of done with it, his passion was fading, and goes, hey, look, can you do one more job? It would have been the second last job where he had his standards there. Yeah. And he would have got a house and he would have been happy. Now that guy's going, man, I shouldn't have, cut corners. I feel bad. You're trying to help him. Now he feels a little bit bad because, he cut corners when you give him a gift. Yeah. Compared to him being super ecstatic because you gave it to him early. So, appreciate those that are around you,
I love that. That's a good point, man. That's awesome. So, any other points you guys want to raise?
I was about to call in sick for tomorrow, mate. I'm really considering, I should be a good employee, Yeah.
But like I said, it's not just about being an employee. You can look at this story seriously from all angles, whether just and apply it to your everyday life. So it's not just within the context of you being an employee. Yeah.
in general.
In general.
Yeah. No,
But-
I'm a good employee, but
No, of course,
it is what
man.
it is, man. Yeah.
If the listeners have a different viewpoint or a different take from this or another lesson that they can draw out from it,
You can meet me on the paintball field.
yeah,
Right.
absolutely. Yeah, it's either my way or
That's it. You gotta get shot.
yeah. But yeah, man, if you do, hit us up as
Yeah, let us
always
know.
on the social medias.
Yeah.
And yeah, let's discuss.
Inshallah.
Until then, inshallah, just wait around for another episode next week,
59.
and we're gonna try and keep it consistent like this guy as well. You know.
definitely, Inshallah. Yeah.
So inshallah. But until then, assalamu alaikum, and catch you guys later.